Thanks for staying with us. As many of you know, on Wednesdays, we like to celebrate women who are doing great things. And today, we have an attorney with over 30 years of experience in diverse areas of judicial science. Her legal experience spans the areas of admiralty law and immigration law, as well as participating in the final phase of a multi-billion insurance class action in litigation. She's a certified executive coach, serving as the lead coach, founder of BMO Advisory Services, and founder of the Women's Lifestyle Hub. She's also a non-executive director of Wema Bank. Welcome with us, Mrs. Bola Matel-Okoh in the building. Might I add, please, that she was my first pastor's wife that when I met in the US.
Oh,
wow. Jesus House, New Jersey. Yes. I mean, when I was down and out, when I had backslidden, you know when you go to America, you first of all backslide the first 2 years. You now find, I came back, and the church was the first church I attended, Pastor Matel, and I mean, I cannot believe it. I was shocked when I saw the mirror yesterday. What? Is this the same person? Yes. Good to have you. Good to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
So, you're a lawyer, and you're doing so much. Tell us a bit about your journey.
Okay.
Your career.
Okay, so I have a way that I like to describe myself. I always say that I'm a pastor by calling, I'm a lawyer by training, I'm a banker by default, because I'm not a core banker, but I sit on the board of a bank. And I also say that I'm a podcaster by design. I do have a podcast. Nice. It's called the Excellent Life Podcast. And then I'm an executive coach, and most people call me Coach BMO.
Oh, nice.
So similar
Coach
to our
TMO.
Oh, TMO. So we have TMO, we have BMO. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I saw also here it says you're the founder of Women's Lifestyle Hub.
Yes.
For me, when I hear lifestyle, that's just me. And I'm wondering, what is that about? And
so Women's Lifestyle Hub is a community, a vibrant, I always like to say that, it's a vibrant community of women, executive women, committed to living a life of excellence. And when I say excellence, I always say personal and professional excellence and all-round success. You know, I've been an executive, a female executive now for some 20-odd years, and I recognize firsthand the peculiar challenges we face as women executives. And so for me, I wanted a community where we could have like minds, form strategic relationships, and just kind of grow together as a community. We have mentors, we have coaches in the community, and then we have the executive women.
Yes. How's that working out, like in practical terms? Because, you know, we all have where we drop these ideas, and then when you want to execute it somehow, and you know, especially with the way they say women don't really work well together.
That's so not true. Exactly. You know, it's so interesting. When I launched Women's Lifestyle Hub back in December, I did a montage. There was an opening montage, and it was called Bursting the Myth. And it was all about bursting this myth that women do not support one another. And I traced my own life from my mom, my late mom, how she supported me. And I outlined all the women that have supported me in my own journey. And so I think that a lot of people put that out there just to discourage us. But I have a lot of women in my life that are so supportive, and there are a lot of people too that I support, you know, as a mentor. So yes.
Amazing. So you've listed your CV is quite loaded. You do so many things, and you do them amazingly well. But I would ask you, how did you find the things to do? How did you decide that, okay, I'm going to get into the bank, or I'm going to get into real estate, or I'm going to become a lawyer? What was it for you? Because there are a lot of people out there who are not very clear in what they would like to do, and they are asking themselves, I have so-and-so talent, but I don't know which one is the will of God.
Yes, yes. You know, I always talk about recognizing the seasons of your life. Because, you know, I always say that now I'm doing a lot of things, but I didn't do all these things at the same time. So it's about recognizing the season of your life. I always say to people that I mentor, I say to them, I'm like, don't try and do too much at the same time. Because now I'm in my 50s. And a lot of things I'm doing now, trust me, I couldn't do it
amazing. Probably in your 50s. Come on.
Yes, I'm in my 50s. So a lot of things I'm doing now, I could not have done them 20 years ago because I was really focused on being a mom. And so all these things are things that I've been able to do over time. And so I just did an article in The Guardian about having balance, work-life balance. And one of the things I said in that article is that at every point in your life, you must recognize what is important for me to do. And so if you do that, then you're able to concentrate on that and not spread yourself too thin.
I love that answer.
You know, because, you know, there are times as women, we want to do everything, but it's just not practicable. You know, and I started the article by asking a question, can a woman have it all? And I always say it's such an unfair question that only women get asked. Because men are also trying to do all these things, but they never get asked, can a man have it? I've never heard, can a man have it all? But constantly you hear, can a woman have it all? And I always say, yes, we can, but maybe not at the same time. It's all about recognizing your season and what's important in that season.
So I watched your interview with Ibuka, like a few months back.
Was that on IG?
Yes, I did. And
that's my mentor right there. Yes.
So I follow
I
any opportunity I have to listen to Ibuka, I don't joke with it.
Yes.
If she's doing any interview, I would watch. So when I saw her interview and I listened to you, I was like, this is somebody I'd love to talk to, and I was so surprised that it didn't even click until you sat down.
Look at that.
I know this woman. I've seen her somewhere.
Yes.
When it comes to mentorship, many people feel, we all know the importance of having a mentor, and we talk about this thing all the time. But what do you see in your journey is the mistakes that, are the mistakes that people are making regarding how to relate, how to meet a mentor, and how to build a good relationship with their mentor that you would feel you could share with us now?
So, you know, when it comes to mentorship, because Pastor Ibuka and I we spoke a lot about that, a lot of people, they look at people and they just on the gut, they say, I want this person to be my mentor. But I think a mentor is something that is not a decision that you should take lightly. And one of the things we talked about in that conversation was, the first question you should ask yourself when you want to have a mentor is, why do I want to have a mentor? And also, you also want to look at the person that you want to have as a mentor. Do they reflect your goals, your values, your vision? And I always say that if you look at my own life and the people I have mentoring me, like Mrs. Aweshika, I always tell her that I feel like when I look at her, I say, when I go ghetto, this is what I want to be. You know, and we just have so many things in common. She also has 3 boys. She's a pastor. She's a banker. So it's all about finding that person that would help you be the best version of yourself. And when I talk about mentor, one important thing to note about a mentor is it is someone who has walked the path that you are trying to walk. So that is so key, because a mentor will be able to say to you, you know what? I've walked this path. I know what works. And so they can guide you in making the crucial decisions that you have to make.
Do you ever have downtimes? Because you look like such a cheerful, bubbly person. Like, does this person even cry? Do they get frustrated?
Yes. It's so interesting. This year did not start the way I envisioned. My mom passed away on the 19th of January, And even recently, I had a personal loss, and I've had things that have not gone the way I want, even in my career this year. And when people always tell me you're upbeat, maybe it's because I'm a Christian, not even that I'm a pastor. Because I'm a Christian, I try to have faith in God. And, you know, the Bible says that God is able to make all things work together for good. So even when things are not working the way that I want them to, I say, you know what, I'm a big girl. My son called me yesterday, and it was so interesting. I told him, I said, do you know that this call really lifted me? Because literally 1 hour yesterday, I had to lock myself in my office and I was crying because I was just, you know, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know what, you move on, you know, and you just trust that things will have a way of working out. So I do have my downtime. Yesterday I had a downtime. 2 days ago I had a downtime. But, you know, this morning I got up and I was, throughout on the way here, I was just playing some inspirational music. And that kind of got me in the right frame of mind.
I was going to say that, you know, when you come to Nigeria sometimes, how has it been getting into the system, Nigerians, especially because Nigeria comes with a lot of pressure of the way you look, the way you are, the clothing, the dressing, the fashion. You know, abroad, you don't just wear a suit and you're okay.
You know,
but here, there's a lot of pressure.
And I know exactly what you're saying. And this is what I say. Confidence is from within. And a lot of people that know me, I always say, I am so comfortable in my own skin. And so I don't even look at what the next person is doing. I'm not designer crazy. As long as it looks nice, you will see me in it. So it's all about your inner confidence. Because when you talk about all these external things, it's all about belonging. You know, so you have to decide for yourself whether or not you want to be your true, authentic self. Because the other thing I've found out in Nigeria is that there's a lack of authenticity, you know, but I stay true to myself, and that's really what my mantra is.
So I'm liking, I'm liking what I'm
I
hearing.
know I have plenty of questions for her.
Go ahead.
Because I was going to ask you a
She comes
question.
across so down to
Yeah.
earth to me and quite relatable. And I love some of the words, authenticity.
Yeah, you have to be your authentic self.
Yeah.
You know, when I live here now, we go out and you will see me in my slippers, and that's just my life. Everybody who knows me, I say all these labels, titles, the bags and all that. I couldn't be bothered, honestly. That's
How is it being married to a fine,
Please, you
man,
don't show
her
us the
husband is
and I have
Pastor
three
Matel.
handsome boys. I wish I
David
could
and Daniel, right?
pronounce
I
that.
think they're David and Daniel too, right?
David Daniel
Yeah,
Joseph.
'cause I remember that.
Do
Yeah.
you remember? Yes. I have three boys, so I feel like a queen in my house. I'm the only woman in the house. People always ask me, how does it feel being the only woman? I said, I love it.
Let me tell you something. When I was younger, this was Pastor Matel's
Don't tell
church.
me, don't tell me.
And I didn't have a crush on my pastor, don't worry. Because she was there. Pastor B was there. Boy, you cannot try it.
cannot try it.
But Pastor Matel was very tall, handsome, but strict. I have shared this story to them several times.
you
There was a
serious?
time that I went to the nightclub with my friends overnight. We were in Maryland with for 4 hours. We drove him back to New Jersey. I said, please drop me back in church. Pastor Matel will be there waiting for you.
Because you were an usher.
I was an usher. I would drop in the car. I would remove all my spaghetti, everything, wear church clothes, enter church and go and usher. Because Pastor Matel was so strict. Even he's fine, man. He's fine. How can he be this strict? So how is it? How is it? You know, being a wife to a pastor like that.
Funny.
I was going to ask about marriage as well. Because,
Yes.
you know, we spoke about seasons, and you're currently doing Nigeria, the US, and
By the way,
how
my
has that-
husband is on the plane. I'm going to the airport from here. So maybe that's why I'm even bubbly.
How is it living apart, you know?
Oh, wow.
well as
You
living
know, so we've been married. It's going to be 30 years next year, actually, yes. We have our next anniversary is our 30th wedding anniversary.
Wow,
And what I always say to people is that it's about building a foundation. And so we have spent many, many years building a foundation that is helping us now. It's about a lot of understanding. I remember when I launched Women's Lifestyle Hub in December, and I had to acknowledge my husband, and I said that the reason I'm able to do what I do is because of your support. And it is not something that I take for granted because it's not automatic. I know a lot of women that their husbands do not support them, but my husband is very supportive because I also support him in the ministry. So I support him in the ministry and he supports me. And he genuinely sees that what I'm doing, I find such joy and fulfillment. And you cannot love a person and not want them to have joy and fulfillment in their life.
I love that. It's so honest, you know, because we would normally expect when it comes to support that it should be automatic. Just
No, it's
hear
not, and
conversation
that's-
of women should submit or men must love, but there has to be like a give and take.
Absolutely.
And because you're a pastor and obviously you pastored young people like her, what are some of the differences you would say American youth and Nigerian youth that you meet?
The truth is that there's really not much of a difference. And I think the reason is that everybody's exposed to social media now. You know, when I come to Nigeria, I am so amazed that even young adults in Nigeria, they know everything because there's nothing to hide. I mean, when we were growing up, you had to look for things to find them. So there's really not much of a difference. I dare to say that there are children abroad that are even a bit more respectful and more well-behaved. So I don't think it's actually a function of where you are. I think it's more a function of the upbringing. I have 3 boys, like I said, and I have a 28-year-old, I have a 26-year-old, and my baby is going to be 22.
You don't
Yes, you've got baby.
look like
22-year-old
baby. You don't look like you've given birth before.
So and you know, I always say that as a mom, the best I can do is to sow the seeds in my children. So sow these seeds, and in time it will germinate. So my 2 oldest children, last year they moved to another state, and this is when I can really say that I see the fruit of all this seed. Because now that they have to live by themselves and make all these decisions, my sons will say to me, 2 days ago, I was talking to both of them, and they're like, Mom, this is when we really appreciate everything that you've been telling us. But when I was telling them, it didn't seem like they were listening.
Let me ask.
So, yes.
Let me talk about intertribal marriage, because in Nigeria, I mean, we discuss it all the time on this table.
Yeah.
People sometimes, families, they love each other so much, but the families find it difficult to accept the love. I know your husband, and both of you are in intertribal marriage. How was it in the beginning?
My husband is a Yoruba.
I know he speaks Yoruba.
He just has an Igbo name. Let me just give you full disclosure there. Because he grew up in Ibadan. And I always say that he speaks better Yoruba than even me.
Okay.
But there was still that element of a different culture that I had to adapt to. So that's always there. And I think that for me, one of the things I always say really helped me, in all truthfulness, is that my husband did not come from a big family, and so I didn't have to deal with too many in-laws. It was basically just his mom, his sister, and his stepdad. So I didn't really have a lot of in-law,
No
drama.
entourage of Umuada.
So I always say that, look, my husband is from Matel-Okoh, and I've been there all of once in my life. But I know people who are married to Igbo people that go to the East every year.
Yeah.
So I want to bring you back to business, talking about the fact that the board, you have different expressions. That's the way to put it. And how would you help someone navigate? You mentioned about focusing per time, but people transition and wonder how to deal with their transition. So I find myself, I cannot advise somebody in their 40s or 50s because I've not experienced what you're going through. But what was the biggest challenge, having to release children, having to move from one job to another, opening up a different part of yourself? How do you go from one space into another?
It's really not very easy. For instance, I became an executive coach when I was 53. And I remember that my son, my middle son, he called me and he said, Mommy, do you know I'm so inspired by you that at 53 you're still pursuing your dreams? So it's all about knowing what you want. It's about knowing what you want and setting what I always call attainable goals for yourself. So I've been able to transition. Like, for instance, when I got on the board of Wema Bank, this was like 8 years ago. At that time, I was able to juggle it in a way that I was only here when I really needed to be. And thank God now, with the advent of COVID, a lot of meetings we do now are even like on Zoom. So it's about and I'm a very passionate person. So when I make up my mind I want to do something, I put all of myself into it. And at times I'll be like, you this girl, you won't kill yourself. Because I just put all of myself into it. I don't know how to do things in half measures. So when I'm doing it, whether I'm doing my podcasting, I'm doing it full stream. When I'm doing my coaching, full stream. Whether I'm being a mom, I'm doing it full stream. Because I was just in the US, and honestly, when I want to be a mom, I just shut down. I will go into the kitchen, I will cook, cook. So, it's just about having passion about what I find is that a lot of people do a lot of things, or they want to do a lot of things, not necessarily because they are passionate about it, but just because maybe they say this is what everybody is doing. But the key to really doing whatever you're doing well is to be passionate about it.
So, you have asked all the questions to the Mariah.
I was looking at your eyes to see already. Go ahead.
I know you're excited.
Yes.
So there are people who decided to maybe put everything down and raise their kids. And in relaunching, sometimes they don't know how to go back. It's not like there was a job waiting for them before. They don't know how to start from the scratch. What would you advise someone who, decided to raise the children and getting close to 50 and trying to find, okay, what do I do now that the kids are out of the house?
I know, because that happened to me. Like I said, I'm a trained attorney, and I remember after I had my third son, because there was a little bit of a gap between my second and third son, because I thought I was done, but everybody was like, you have to have a girl, like I was in control of it. So I decided to get pregnant, and then I had another boy. But, after I had my third son, I kind of just took a break from being a lawyer. I went into real estate, and when I decided to go back into legal practice, it was tough. I couldn't even remember some of the legal terms, Honestly, I remember coming over one day and I said to my husband, They were telling me redact document. I'm like, what is the meaning of redact? You know, so yeah, it is a reality that we have to face. But like I said, if you want it enough, of course, I have a friend that told me she went back to school to study law in her 40s. She was the oldest person in the class. Wow. Some people might not be able to have the threshold to do something like that. So, but it's really about, I mean, like me too, at 53, I decided, you know what, I want to be an executive coach, and I went for it. So it is all about wanting it enough to be able to press through. Because I spent a big chunk of my life just being a mom. And, you know, I don't regret it because those times were very formative years in the lives of my children. Yeah. So it's not something I regret.
Would you say your pedigree helped you a bit, you know, because of your father and how you grew up? You know, people always think that it's because your daddy is.
No. I
did not even see the daddy. I didn't know about the daddy, but I was just looking at the schools that she went.
No. You know, the interesting thing about my life is that I got married very early. I got married at 24. Ooh. So I changed my name at 24. So the bulk of my adult life, I have not had the last name that I would say would help me. So if you don't really know, I don't tell you. So I have had to, and there is a satisfaction I get from being able to do something by my own. And honestly, I always tell people that people don't even understand that my dad is the kind of person that he does not believe in nepotism. Yeah. Because even when I got on the board of WEMA, he was very reluctant. I said, okay, you know what? I want to do this thing. Let me even apply. And then I had to apply. They had to approve it. They had to go to CBN and was, oh, so really you can do it? I'm like, really? So I don't think, I mean, it has helped in some ways. But honestly, I feel like everything I've done, I've been able to do it because I wanted it enough and I put in everything to make it happen.
So how do you have fun? You know, do you like to travel? What makes you happy?
I have a lot of fun. I have some girlfriends that honestly, because you know, I say when I do presentations, people say that work hard, play hard. That I say work hard, play harder. Play harder because I love to have fun. You know, I have a bunch of girlfriends. If one of them, I call her Minister of Enjoyment. So like I said, in fact, I run a 6-week leadership program, and one of the modules of the program is actually fun and enjoyment. Because what I've found is that a lot of executive women, or women in general, we don't even know how to have fun. So, but I am the kind of person, they don't know. I can let down my hair and have fun. No.
Let me give an example. In church in Nigeria, you know, the women leader will say, women, let's come together, have fun. They'll show up and everybody's looking very serious. Yeah. You know, even you as the church member, you're very prayer time. You feel not even the prayer time. I don't even mind prayer.
But how do church women have fun?
How do thank you? God bless you.
Oh my God! There are so many things people can do. Like we're in America. People can go bowling. We do barbecues. There's so many things people can do. Travel. Go and we went to watch this show the other day.
Broadway show.
There's so many things you can do. And honestly, for me, I do things with my church family, but I have the most fun when I'm hanging out with my girlfriends. So I remember that, so I have the people, my girlfriends, we went to secondary school together, we went to Dubai. We're just all over the place. And I know that they are planning, we have our 30th anniversary coming up, so we are planning to actually do another getaway. So yeah,
maybe the church in Nigeria is not having so much fun.
No, but we're having fun.
To a church in Texas.
No, they're having fun. We're having fun.
The kind of music they were playing. No church music, secular, everything secular. Whiskey, they do everything. The way they let down their hair.
No, but you see, my husband says something. That Christianity changes your heart, not your style. And I think a lot of people miss that. They feel that because I know a lot of people that they are very, very modest in appearance, but they are not modest.
Their minds
they are very wicked people, I'm sorry. But you will see people that they will show up, but they really, truly love God. I remember one time, this was when God set me free. I used to be also a bit particular when I first became a pastor's wife about the way people should dress and all that. And then I had this young lady come to church. You could tell this girl loved God. But she would come in her little mini dresses. And then one day God said to me, what you should be looking at is this girl's heart. Because I feel like at times, a lot of us are focused on the external, and we miss the internal. So, like I said, God changes your heart. There are people that
Not your style.
Not your style.
I like that.
That's why I'm showing up like this.
I hear you talk about my girlfriends, my girlfriends.
Oh, yes,
and,
yes, yes.
You know,
His girlfriend.
They are what you know.
We need to build our own girlfriend.
because at the end of the day, somebody is watching and saying, I don't have girlfriends. You know, you're saying my secondary school, I don't have secondary school girlfriends.
Wow.
So how can somebody midlife get
when
that
we
right?
girlfriends around
Exactly.
You know, I live my life very intentionally. That's one of my core words that I use to live my life, intentionality. And so everything, even the Bible says, if you want to be a friend, show yourself friendly. So there are times you have to be intentional about cultivating friendships, nurturing the friendship.
Wisdom.
No, wisdom is the principal thing. So you cannot harvest what you have not sown.
Hey!
So you have to sow into relationships.
Drink some.
Someone's talking to me
I
right now.
mean-
Talking to me right now.
It's a session,
Talking to me.
but it's serious. You can't understand. Like, for instance, now, I have this friend. She's basically my oldest friend. We've known each other since we were 6, because we went to primary school together. We went to secondary school together. So this year in May was our 30th wedding anniversary. And she calls me up and she was like, Bonali, I want you to not only come, I want you to officiate the renewal of vows. We want to, my husband and I, we want to renew our vows. And then also your chief bridesmaid. I was like, I'm on.
yeah.
So I literally left Nigeria. I was in Nigeria. I left Nigeria, got to the US. The next day, got on a plane to Atlanta because that was where they were having it. And honestly, my husband was like, you just get. And not only did I go, I carried my husband. I carried all my 3 children.
Wow.
That's a
Because
friend.
because our oldest son is also friends with my oldest son. So I was like, let's just make this a family thing. We had so much fun. Intentionality. Intentionality.
Cultivate it.
You have to cultivate
we have to
it.
go.
You have to invest.
There's a question in my mind.
Ask your question.
How are you preparing for the mother-in-law season?
Wait,
How are you preparing?
My 50th birthday, so they did an interview and they asked me, so what are you looking forward to next? I said, being a grandma. Yes. I tell myself, I say, Daniel, I got married at 24. Yeah, 28. I'm like, mommy, please. Just give me to 30. But honestly, I am really looking forward to being a grandma.
You'll be a fantastic mother-in-law. She will be.
I think so.
Yeah,
She's
Amen.
bubbling.
Her
You know,
energy is just...
I remember that I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, oh my God, you know, he also has 3 boys. And I was like, oh, I have 3 boys. And I said, don't worry. I made up my mind. I will be the best father-in-law to my daughter. And that is my own promise to that. I will be the best.
We have to run.
Mother-in-law.
Let
Let me give you 30 seconds to just share a word of advice to women out there building a career, trying to just get their life on track.
Okay, ladies, if you are watching, like I said, a woman can have it all. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing the seasons. It's about being passionate about what you want. And all I want to say to you, go for it. And I'll be cheering you along all the way.
So tomorrow's show is very important because we're going to be discussing and reviewing the tribunal. But it's happening today. So please don't miss tomorrow's show. We'd like to hear your views, your thoughts on whatever happens. Please stay safe, be safe, and put Nigeria first. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.